Okay, here we go. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Anaheim Elementary School District September 28th School Board Meeting. I am AESD Board President Juan Gabriel Alvarez, and I call this meeting to order at 5 p.m. This meeting is being conducted in person and by means of live video broadcast on our Anaheim Elementary YouTube channel for members of the public. Para español puede conectarse por teléfono de la siguiente manera. Llame al 440-678-8040. Cuando se le pida, presiona el pin o la clave 336-849-237 y la tecla numeral. Any member of the public has the opportunity to address the board in person during the agendized public comment session, or they may choose to submit their public comments online by 12 p.m. or in person by 6:30 on the day of the meeting. Comments submitted online will be read during the appropriate agendized public session. Let's begin with the board roll call. To my right, we have Board Member Mark A. Lopez.
Present.
We have Board Member Dr. Paulo Macalas.
Present.
We have Board Member Ryan Morales.
Hello.
And then we have Board Clerk Jackie Philbeck.
Present.
I'm Board President Juan Gabriel Alvarez. Okay, let's move on to item 1B, public speakers for closed session agenda items. I believe there are no speakers, right? No speakers for closed session items that were received as of 12 p.m. today. Item 2, let's move to adjournment to closed session.
So moved.
I have a
Second.
Motion, Lopez, second, Morales. Any discussion? All right, all in favor to move to closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Let's adjourn to closed session. Let's go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Anaheim Elementary School District September 28th board meeting. I am Board President Juan Gabriel Alvarez, and I call this meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. This meeting is being conducted in person and by means of live video broadcast on our Anaheim Elementary YouTube channel for members of the public. Spanish interpretation of the board meeting is available to attendees. Para español puede conectarse por teléfono de la siguiente manera. Llame al 440-678-8040. Cuando se le pida, presione el PIN o la clave 336-849-237 y la tecla numeral. Let's begin with the flag salute. Today we have a special guest, Isabella Vargas. Isabella, if you want to get to the mic, and go ahead and lead us on the pledge.
Everybody please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge.
Thank you very much, Isabella. Good job. Okay, let's move on to introductions and roll call. Starting to my right, we have Board Member Mark Lopez.
Good evening, everyone.
We have Board Member Dr. Paulo Macalas.
Good evening, everyone. It's so great to see you all here tonight.
Board Member Ryan Morales.
Hello.
Okay, Board Clerk Jackie Philbeck.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see a packed boardroom again.
I'm Juan Gabriel Alvarez. I'm the Board President. And to my left, I have Dr. Christopher Downing, Superintendent.
Good evening, everyone.
Dr. Mary Grace, Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services.
Hello, everybody.
Dina Melland, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources.
Good evening.
Jesse Chavarria, Assistant Superintendent, Administrative Services.
Good evening, everyone.
We have Tracy Golden, Senior Director of School Safety and Operations.
Good evening, everyone.
Yesenia Ureño, our Senior Administrative Assistant.
Good evening, everybody.
And to the back, we have our interpreters, Jasmine Anaya and Mary Madrigal. And then right here to my left, in the front, we have Janice Cato, our Technology Support Technician. And in the back, we have Brian Brooks and Benjamin Hausman, our Media Production Specialists. Welcome, everybody. We have a report of closed section items taken. There are none. Moving on to the adoption of the agenda, let it be known, action calendar items 9D1, 9D2, 9D3, 9D4, and 9D5 were pulled at the request of administration prior to the adoption of the agenda. We have a motion to the revised agenda to table and postpone items 9D1, or I should say 9D.1, 9D.2, 9D.3, 9D.4, 9D.5 to the October 12, 2022 board meeting.
So moved.
Okay, motion Morales, second Macalas. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of adopting the agenda as it stands with the correction, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Let's move on to special order of business. Community Schools Program Update, Dr. Christopher Downing, Dr. Grace, and Dr. Yadira Moreno, Director of School, Family and Community Engagement. Welcome.
Good evening, board members. We're extremely proud to share an update this evening on the planned transformational implementation of community school grant funding at both Ponderosa and Revere Elementary School. In spring of 2022, the California Department of Education released two types of community school grant applications. The first, coordination grants, were to build community schools from the ground floor. These are for districts with no existing community schools to develop a community school implementation plan. The second type of community school grants are called implementation grants. And these grants are for new community schools or to expand existing community schools. AESD applied for and received implementation grant funding to further the work that was already in place at Paul Revere and Ponderosa Elementary School. These two sites were selected as they both have a family resource center affiliated with the school and community, In addition, each school has established community partnerships, including Western Youth Services, United Way, and Resident Leadership Academies. This evening, Dr. Moreno, joined by Dr. Grace, will share our progress to date.
Good evening, Board President Alvarez and Cabinet. I would love to begin to share with our implementation stages of what is a community school. And the most important thing for us to understand, and what Dr. Downing has just shared, is that it really is all the resources and opportunities available within a community coming together to support the school sites. So it really is focused on student learning, stronger families, and healthier communities. The four cornerstone commitments that we are making within our school sites is that we want it to be asset driven. We want culturally powerful and relevant instruction. We want it to ensure restorative school climates and shared decision making with our key stakeholders.
Aligned with the three tenets of the community schools, this year we have taken our esteemed educational programming and we created a profile of an AESD scholar, which will be threaded throughout our community, all of our schools, and in particular at our community schools. As you can see in the center of this graphic are the skills that we hope that our sixth grade scholars leave us so that they then can be successful in junior high, high school, and be well prepared for college and career. The letters surrounding that inner circle are our esteemed educational program. It's equitable, engaging, and it includes the content of science, technology, engineering, arts, music, math, and our dual language program. On the outer edge of the circle are the skills that we know our students need and will be successful once they reach their college and career journey: critical thinking, character and compassion, collaboration, communication, and creativity. And this all is aligned with the district's mission and vision, as well as the goals and our commitment to the Anaheim Educational Pledge.
The four pillars of a community school is really the framework that will tie our work within as we begin. It's integrated student supports, family and community engagement, collaborative leadership and practices for educators and administrators, and expanded learning times and opportunities. The most significant part of the pillars is that they need to work together. It's not something that is a side, but a part of the school in order for the success of a community school. So our steps to successful implementation is really to think of it as an equity strategy. We're going to be researching, figuring out the needs and assets of the school site. Our steering committees are going to come together with ideas and implementation. It really is from the ground up. We really don't have what is the next step until we start meeting with our key stakeholders. We have aspiration for our schools. We want to make sure that the students and family are receiving what they need and taking care of the academic, physical, and emotional needs of our students. And really the end goal is academic success. We know that if our students are academically sound and the portrait of an AESD scholar is exhibit in every student that we are sending towards junior high, we know that we have done our due diligence and really the power of a community school coming together. Our schools are working right now into creating a school site implementation committee. We've started with school communication, school-wide communication earlier this month. And also, our principals hosted coffee chats where they invited the community to start the discussion about what this would look like. Dr. Vidal and Principal Salas are also getting their steering committee that will be comprised of different representation. But really, again, we want to make sure that it's a collaboration effort of our representative groups, our parent leaders, our community members, and our students, because a big part of this is student voice. Our community schools program coordinator was just currently hired, and again, this is a partnership with Network Anaheim and the Children's Bureau, where she was recently hired. We all participated in the interviews, Dr. Grace, myself, Dr. Valdez, and Principal Salas. And really what this person is gonna come together and support us is with the project coordination for our 2 community schools. They're gonna oversee the daily impact, the operational hubs. They're gonna supervise staff. They're gonna ensure the data integrity and the grant goals are met. And they're gonna report progress, because we need the progress in order to guide our work. The next steps will be to hire a family support counselor, where they will be doing the direct work with families. They will do what usually we think of case managing, administering the family center, and also direct family services. So this will be embedded within the 2 school sites. Our Anaheim Elementary Steering Committee, we have proposed meeting dates. Currently, we have 4. We will be meeting from 3 to 4:30, and it really is an equal voice representation of our stakeholder groups within our community.
Thank you. And what's going to be important about our steering committee is to have balance from the categories outlined this evening. And joining us in the audience today are some of our proposed steering committee members. I'd like to recognize Faith Davrin, AEA President. Maribel Fernandez, CSEA President. Maria Alejo, CSEA Vice President. Dr. Moreno is actually representing asthma this evening. And we also have Myra Reyes, who is our DAC/DLAC chairperson. So they are some of the 50 different representatives from different categories that have received invitation, and we look forward to sharing our membership in future meetings.
And with that said, we have committed partners already, and so we are excited to move forward and to start the work. Really, it really is a phasing out and ensuring priority settings as we work with the communities and ensure that we highlight their needs and what they need from us in order to do the work. So with that, thank you.
Thank you. One thing that struck a chord to me is the amount of partners we've already have established to our own programming already. So kudos to the district for having those partnerships in play. Looking forward to seeing the development of the work. So thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you. We're
Appreciate
excited.
Yeah. Okay, so next on our agenda, we have news and updates. We have a parent leadership group update. There's a DLAC, our DAC/DLAC update tonight presented by our DAC/DLAC chair, Myra Reyes. Welcome, Myra.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Myra Reyes, the president of DAC/DLAC, and I have right here Hilda.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gilda Sanchez. I'm vice president for ILAC.
Good afternoon. My name is Rosa Barrios. I have 2 years in DAC/DLAC as secretary.
Okay, our DAC/DLAC report at the September 20 meeting, Superintendent Dr. Christopher Downey report on district news and updates, including the Anaheim Elementary School District becoming one of the top districts in Orange County. He also talked about Save the Music Grants program, which includes Thomas Edison, James Wynn, Patrick Henry, Loara, Ponderosa, Betsy Ross, and Sankis. He discussed the school district goals, priorities, strategies for success in communication, student engagement, family and community involvement with cultural language and performance measures. The district will be utilizing a new online portal an application to facilitate communication between parents and teachers in the district. This app is called Parent Square. Ms. Tracy Golden told us about the school safety plan that will be implemented. Ms. Rhonda Robertson and Valeria discusses the development of district programs, goals, and objectives for programs and service for English learners. The school district's reclassification procedures and writing notifications to be sent to the parents, guardians were reviewed and discussed. We were also taught on how to read both LPAC and CAS test results. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, item 5B, association updates. There are no association updates tonight. 5C, district news and updates, none this evening as well. All right, we're moving on to item 6, public speakers on agenda or non-agenda items. It looks like there are 2 public comments that were submitted to us. We'll have Yesenia read them out loud for us. Thank you, Yesenia.
We have the first comment is from, was submitted by a parent, and it reads, Roosevelt Elementary, sorry, is it not? Our first public comment was submitted by a parent, and it reads as follows. Roosevelt Elementary morning traffic is unsafe. The traffic leaving the parking lot onto Vermont, the drivers are not looking at the pedestrians and have seen people almost be hit. Also, there are drivers that drive through the crosswalk while the cross guard is in the middle of the street doing his job. Our second comment was from a staff member, and it reads as follows. As a music teacher, I highly value having the classroom teacher in the music class. When they are there, they know what is going on in the music lesson and what the students are learning. They are able to help students make connections through the week to things they are learning in music. Of course, they are also able to address any behavior issues or other issues that may come up during the music lesson. I do not mind at all if teachers bring work to do. I also understand the importance of having prep and planning time. Teachers simply do not get enough. Our planning time is increasingly eating into our personal lives. Having said that, I concur with the concern brought up regarding equal planning time for all grade levels, especially combo teachers. We need another solution if we want to provide our teachers with planning time.
All right, thank you so much, Yesenia. Okay, item 7, superintendent's report. We have a report on expanded learning opportunities program, update by Dr. Yadira Moreno. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm excited to be here to share about the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program. I do want to thank the leadership assistants who are here in their bright green shirts as we move forward. The first thing that I want to share is that our Expanded Learning Opportunities Program is really centered on the California Department of Ed quality standards. And from there, we extracted kind of the 4 big goals that we see in order to think of our service providers and our programming. So we do highlight student voice and leadership, social emotional learning, academic support, and again, our AESD Scholar, our esteemed branding, as we believe that is truly exceptional work that we do. And it is a partnership with the YMCA also, as they are our ACES provider, our after-school safety provider. Currently, we have 46% of all total TK6 students attending ELOP. What we have is 2,308 Anaheim Achieve Scholars and 4,416 Anaheim Succeeds Scholars, for a total of 6,724 students from TK6 attending either before or after school programming. Some highlights of Anaheim Achieves is that we now have 23 site program supervisors. The last year we were sharing site supervisors at certain sites depending on numbers and enrollment, and now each site has a site supervisor. We have weekly meetings with the Anaheim Achieves directors in order to problem solve, collaborate, and whatever might come our way. We do have a Girl Scout collaboration that is strong in Anaheim Achieves, and it's continuing this year. We provided training to the site supervisors, Access for All, a lot of conversations about inclusivity and supporting our students before and after school. We've also partnered up with the Anaheim Ducks and done the collaboration of not only for Anaheim Achieves, but also Anaheim Succeeds, as we're working towards one comprehensive program of what the state is asking us to look at. Training to support the directors is also student discipline. A lot of discussions on restorative practices, how can we support our students and ensure that we find ways to ensure their safety before or after school. We also brought back the the trainings for our program liaisons, which are our teachers. Every school site has a teacher liaison that supports the site supervisor in this capacity, almost like a sounding board. So we brought back the quarterly meetings. And our next big project is really the positive behavior intervention supports, PBIS. We're rolling it out in Anaheim Succeeds and eventually weaving in Anaheim Achieves once we figure out our little kinks as we continue to onboard our students. Anaheim Achieves wears the nice, beautiful red shirts, usually on a campus. You could easily identify them that way. Our Anaheim Succeeds program are led by our site supervisors, which are leadership assistants. They have those fancy green shirts that you see. And really, in 6 weeks that they've been on the sites, they've had immense training to take on the after school and before school adventures. It started with understanding the ELOP goals and implementation. What does this look like? What does before and after school look like at a school site? What are the quality standards? So it's shifting from the teacher brain to the quality standards after school, and what does programming look like? They've had first aid, CPR, AED training, fiscal support, how to buy items, how to ensure that we have what they need. Access for All, lots of conversation about inclusivity and supporting our students that need support after school. PAN forms, all the little work behind the scenes that as a teacher, they didn't know existed, and now we're seeing a whole different lens. Crisis prevention intervention was what we did during our conference days. So they learned how to keep kids safe and ensure that we do our due diligence when triaging or de-escalating behaviors. And again, just like I shared, PBIS, the puzzle that you see are quality standards, our goals, but you see that really what connects the bridge is the leadership assistants, our service providers, our principals and vice principals are critical, and AESD staff into making Anaheim Succeeds function. The numbers, the ELOP total, I gave you the big picture of the 46% students participating, but what you can see is that from the 46%, 66% of our students are in Anaheim Succeeds, and 34% of our students are in Anaheim Achieves after school. So you could see it's almost like 2/3, 1/3. That's a good way of thinking about it. 2,000 kids are in here in this program, 4,000 kids are in this program. If you look at it at a school site level, if there's 60 kids in Anaheim Achieves, that means there's more than likely gonna be 120 kids in Anaheim Succeeds. And that kind of holds true at all our numbers. So that's an easy way of when you're walking into a school site and you see a really big group of kids, that's probably Anaheim Succeeds. And then the other large group of kids is Anaheim Achieves. That's exactly what I just shared. I kind of jumped on. The morning program of where we are is we're starting there. So in the morning, Anaheim Achieves is our service provider. They are at our 5 late start schools. So what that means is our Gower, Loera, Sunkist, our 8:50 a.m. schools have Anaheim Achieves as a service provider. In general, last year when we started the ELOP program, we noticed it was just a little group of kiddos that are there pretty much from 6:30 to 8 before the hustle and bustle of an 8:50 school. So we're servicing those kiddos through Anaheim Achieves, and they have a safe place to go, and that's working great. And we've started our regular ELOP program at about 12 of our schools. So this is really our next big goal. What does morning programming look like for our students? And what can they do in the morning to support and kind of get their brain going before they go into the classroom? So our leadership assistants and I have had that discussion of how do you start thinking about your morning program in order to ensure that the kids can come in and have something for them to wake up their brain, keep them safe, and move forward with that. When you look at the percentage, again, most of the kiddos are in Anaheim Succeeds. 83% of them in the morning are in Anaheim Succeeds, while 17% are in Anaheim Achieves at the 5 school sites. The service providers that we have in
Dr.
Anaheim Succeeds.
Dr. Moreno, maybe go back 2 slides. I think there we go, the afternoon one.
I apologize. The after-school ELOP, I might have skipped it. But our after-school enrollment mirrors kind of the first slide, the after-school. It's 4,416 students. But what is really fascinating about this is you have schools like, we expect our large schools to have a large number of students enrolled, the Ponderosas and Edisons of the world. But really, Loera and Roosevelt, we're servicing about 85% of those kiddos. And that's incredible when you're thinking of a school of 400 to 500, and 85% of them are staying after school. So that's really exciting news in our after-school program. And again, most of our Anaheim Achieves enrollment ranges from 80 to about 100 kiddos. So that's really their capacity based on grant numbers. The grant really dictates their ability to provide certain seats. And that's the reason why we end up with a wait list in Anaheim Achieves, because the grant gives us certain limitations. I discussed the morning program, and now I will discuss the service providers that we have in Anaheim Succeeds. These are, well, the big blue box is the AESD staff, because they're critical in this work, whether it's a playground supervisor, a safety assistant, an office assistant, a teacher doing one of those special clubs, such as a chicken club, which Ms. Dixon is here in the audience, or knitting, or any of those fascinating, where they're sharing their talents with the staff. You can see it ranges anywhere from 6 to like 18 teachers at certain, or 18 staff at certain sites. So you can take a look at that beautiful range. In the morning, again, our service providers are Anaheim Achieves for the 5 school sites. That's why you see the rest of the schools in gray, because we only have Anaheim Achieves in the morning at the late start schools. Our CF Fitness staff, which is our physical fitness, is 2. We have 2 coaches, but our goal is 3. So the contract that you approved is for 3 coaches, and we're gradually moving that way. Our champion staff is our specialized TKK program that really works on meeting the needs of an early learner. So it's specialized for that, and they're vetted through KinderCare. Hey Tutor is 3 tutors that we usually have on every campus. Our BHAs that support with our SEL. And then in the light green, you'll see baile folclórico, speech, mariachi, the muralist, because these are the providers that come once a week or twice a week, depending on the enrichment. Our Segerstrom assemblies are in blue, and also our conga kids, because these are assemblies that take place at a school site in the moment, where Anaheim Achieves and Anaheim Succeeds. So our entire ELOP program participates, and then they leave. So we program 6 assemblies through Segerstrom and 1 conga kids assembly. So just so you could see a visual of the providers. Champions, again, you will find them in a TK or K classroom. So they have the appropriate setting, and it really is developmentally appropriate for their needs. Western Youth Services, they're part of our cost team, and the BHAs are just amazing. They either do rotations or supports, direct support with students. Our CF Fitness staff, which is our physical fitness staff, coaches, they wear those tie-dye shirts, so that's how you could identify them. Our Hey tutors are in the process of having vests, so you'll see them wearing vests on campuses. Our mariachi classes usually take place in the music program, and that's identifiable by the awesome instruments that they will have. Our SLED is led by an AESD support staff, and so is mariachi. So our teachers are embedded in that program to continue with the PD for mariachi for our kids. SLED is Students Leading in Education, and we do have a teacher facilitator or an AESD staff. It does not have to be a teacher, meeting and really doing the design process with students to solving a problem in their community. Robots and Rainbows is our muralist that kicked off this month and produced their first mural, which was Ponderosa, and you could see the completed mural on the right. And 100 Mile Club is just kind of gearing up at all the school sites, but we have some sites already with like 300 participants. So these are our service providers that you could see at all our 23 school sites. I do want to welcome, we have special guests, so we do have Baile Folklorico and then Advantage Communications that I do want to highlight, but you get to see those live and in person. So with that, I'm going to pause so that I can let Baile know that you're ready for them.
Bluetooth connecting.
So that is Ponderosa Baile. Thank you very much. And we, at all our school sites, while Price sets up, at all our school sites, we began last year with 11 school sites. Some of our school sites already had this embedded within their before and after school. Price is one of those schools. But at the 11 school sites, we progressed to offering a beginning and an advanced baile, so that the students that were with us last year can continue to increase their skill while we onboard new students. So that is almost a version of a beginning and now a version of the advanced baile. So with that, Price, Baile Folclórico.
Y ahí le va, compa.
Thank you very much, Price. And I do want to say thank you at this time to Maestra Fe, who is the leader of making this happen. And she took on the challenge to offer this programming at 23 school sites, which means she onboarded amazing teachers with her. And Miss Maida is one of those amazing teachers serving our school sites. So thank you, Maida. With that same messaging, before I call our Advantage Communications representative, one of the big things is how do we make this happen across 23 school sites? So the programming and the puzzle pieces are extremely difficult, which is an art that my leadership assistants are working with me to ensure that the programming is there as we're trying to connect every other piece. And Advantage Communications, which is our speech and debate club, progressed from 2 schools, Sunkist and Ponderosa are pilot schools, to onboard 8 more competitive school sites. So now we have 10 competitive teams that will be starting their first tournaments. But all our other sites, so all the rest of the 13 sites, receive an enrichment program. So they're still practicing with a world-renowned speech teacher, and seeing the art of communication come to life. So Audrey and Clarabelle, who meet with us weekly. There they are. They are here. And I have the honor of inviting Bella Templeton from Sunkist Elementary to share an excerpt of her award-winning speech. Bella, that's amazing. Thank you. So Bella's recognition comes from, in May was her last tournament. And so this recognition all happened in May. So it's been a couple months. So she did a phenomenal job. So thank you, Bella, for all your work. So she's out celebrating. And I do want to I thank also the principals that are super supportive with all this programming. Before we continue, you guys are more than welcome to come to the front, and then we can finish our presentation. So I will make sure that you receive the dates for the tournaments, but Trustee Lopez was with us at a tournament last year and kind of saw all this happen. Because of COVID, it was different. It was virtual. Now we're back live and in person, and the tournaments will take place at Santa Ana High School on October 29th and November 5th. So that's super exciting, and our parents are going to be able to attend, so we're working all of that. So before I call one of our leadership assistants, Danya Mays has had an amazing transition because she actually started in March. She was Loera Elementary was one of the school sites where I needed a teacher leader. And so through an MOU with AEA, Danya kind of took this on a little bit earlier as a 5th grade gate teacher she was doing after school. So I do want Danya to kind of come up and share her journey as she transitions from a site coordinator as an AEA teacher and now into the leadership role where she has increased her attendance significantly, and Loera Elementary is thriving with over 400 students in after-school programming.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to share this amazing journey and give you a first-hand view of how much expanded learning has changed the lives for parents and our students. When I inherited the job at Loera, we had 60 students in our program. At that point, it wasn't feasible to offer these opportunities to all students. With the opportunity of leadership assistant, we have been able to focus on inclusivity for all students from TK through 6th grades with no wait lists. No parent needs to worry about childcare, and every student has the opportunity for enrichment as well as fun with our coaches and all of the neat interpersonal and social emotional lessons that we do. One of the biggest changes I've seen is that we have a substantial amount of our students with special needs who are successfully mainstreaming within our program. This has been made possible through collaboration. Collaboration with our school psychologists in writing 504s to make sure that they have these experiences. This is helping them have an experience that they may have not had otherwise and relieving their parents as well as giving them hope. We're also able to provide transportation to all students. That means no one is left out of the program based on where they live, their parents' working hours, or other circumstances. We have opportunities for DLI expanding learning programs as well to support students within our DLI, and flexibility for parents so they can use our program to the best of their abilities dependent on their schedules as well as what they would like their students to participate in. The collaboration that we're able to do as leadership assistants includes collaborations with Anaheim Achieves so that students may fluidly move between programs in order to gain any opportunity that they wish. Opportunities and collaborations with school psychologists with 504s. Collaborating with the cost team to make sure that our students who may need some extra support with behaviors are successfully welcomed into our program. And with teachers and service providers to make sure that we're meeting specified academic needs. As a leadership assistant position, it's allowed us to plan, implement, support, and allow access for all students in our amazing district. It has made a great difference for our families, and I'm looking forward to seeing it grow even more. Thank you.
And our last provider is Segerstrom Assemblies, and Ms. Philbeck. I had the experience of having Universal Soul visit when she was visiting Mann Elementary. So I would love to invite you to an assembly. They're fun, they're engaging, they'll make you dance. So we pretty much have an assembly program almost every day. When you're looking at 6 assemblies for 23 schools, the programming is pretty much available any day that you would like. So with that, thank you.
Wow. Wow. Amazing work, Dr. Moreno. Thank you so much for that presentation. As you're presenting, well, first, I do have a quick question. What's conga? Is it the conga drums?
Kids, yeah. Well, conga
nice.
kids like that. It's merengue, salsa, but that's the beautiful thing about that provider is that it's in person.
Okay.
It's in school. So our 5th graders are going to get a 20-week in-person program. And all 6 schools, again, everything starts as a pilot because 23 schools is a lot. We have a beautiful big district. So they agreed to 6 schools after a little massaging to 6. So 6 schools they've undertaken. And again, all of this is a collaboration with our entire department. So with the collaboration of CNI, working with Dr. Grace and Maria, we identified the 6 schools to onboard this program. And then in April, there's regionals and all of this amazing dance opportunities that you will be a part of because we'll have a district competition. And then they'll have the ability to even perform in May in LA at the LA Live Conga Room. Yeah, so it's pretty Very impressive. Cool. It's going to be fun, and it kicked off this week. So awesome. Our schools started Wednesday, today, actually kick off today. Wednesday was our first site. And nice. So you'll see a little bit more of that because it started today.
Awesome. I can't wait to see it. What I was saying earlier is I'm just proud that, as a kid growing up and coming to all of our elementary schools, my parents, we were immigrants, right, from the Philippines. And in the 80s, there weren't a lot of opportunities after school, before school. And wow, look at the plethora of opportunities that we have for our communities. During 2:30 to 5 or 2:36, I think the data is when they say that a lot of kids get into activities. And I was one of those kids. I was at-risk youth. And just incredibly proud of the opportunities. So thank you to all the hard work and all the community partners and just all the staff for providing these for our families. Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I want to thank all of our leadership assistants for being here. I know you'd nowhere else you'd rather be on a Wednesday evening than here in our boardroom. So thank you for joining us. And you're right, the Advantage presentation, the competition we had last year was great. All of our scholars were poised, overcame all the tech issues that arose. There were some technology challenges, but they overcame that and did really well. So I'm looking forward to the next one. I've got it on my calendar. I did have a couple of questions for you regarding our service providers. I noticed on slide 9 we do have some pretty consistent numbers of all of our service providers across the board for every single site. Few slides prior to that, you demonstrated or you showed us on slide 6 that we have kind of a range of students who are participating. So from 100 to 340. So I just wanted to, the reason I ask is because this, making sure that we have that equity of the ratios, and I do notice the AESD staff is adjusted on that column, but what are your thoughts on that?
We are working on that. And so when we present the contract, we start, and I can move internally. So we do that a lot in a sense when things are happening. But the ratios are almost like our class sizes. TK and K, I need to work 1 to 12, right? That's the ratio. So we maintain that ratio. And in our 1st through 6th grade, it's 25 to 1. So that is the ratio that we're maintaining, and we are still in compliance to ensure that we have a safe atmosphere after school. But again, it's only 6 weeks in, and honestly, the attendance, because enrichment has just like skyrocketed these past 2 weeks, that with our weekly meetings with our service provider is like, how can you support me differently? So it's a conversation we're having, because our goal is very clear. How do we make sure that all our students can participate in a safe physical environment, which I know and we know we need to maintain the ratios to ensure that safety.
Okay, thank you. I guess a skyrocketing enrollment is a good problem to have. So we want to, we're happy that we're taking advantage of all the opportunities that are out there. But that did lead me to my second question, was just the responsiveness of our vendors. So when we're having any absences of any one of the vendors, we're able to kind of
it's
shuffle.
It's difficult. They have we have a layer of, so our service providers, we have the ones that report to a school site, and then we have coveted positions that are, they call them area coordinators, or some capacity of that name. But then they jump into ratio because they have absences, just like we have absences. So we're almost like a mini HR department from 2 to 5, kind of supporting what can we do. And I have a roving leadership assistant that jumps into ratio. My curriculum specialist jumps into ratio. And at times I jump into ratio to make sure that our schools are taken care of. So we're all kind of all over the place. And it's kind of funny because basically our busy time is from 1 to 3, trying to ensure that everyone, even though we have everything in place, we know that whenever it's human capital, anything can happen, and we hope for notification before 12, but everything, knock on wood, has been safe, and we're able to deploy someone to ensure that our kids are safe.
All right, well, thank you. I just want to make sure that we're getting the responsiveness from the vendors too. So it sounds like we have a good working relationship with all these vendors who are listed.
They are amazing and responsive and understand what the end goal is, which is keep our kids safe, engaged, and be present.
All right, thank you.
I'd like to start off first by just commenting on the inclusivity of the program overall. I visited a few of the after-school programs. It's great to hear of the wide array of different students that we have with a program that they can participate in. No one is excluded, and I think that's awesome. My colleague here, Dr. McCullis, mentioned about how growing up, in Anaheim, it's great to have these programs for individuals like us growing up, But a lot of my friends who are also in education, some of them and lawyers, they've commented and have stated how much of a significant impact this is having on their lives as well. Just because of the fact that they have good faith in our schools. They basically now have seen what this program's about and the potential it continues to have for our students, and they're all for it. And so they basically are ecstatic about this, as ecstatic as I am, as well as my colleagues, you know. I would like to say that it has been great picking the brain of Ms. Mays from Loera. Fantastic. I'd like to just give her a special shout out. And she represents that if our leadership assistants are even half as energetic as Ms. Mays, this is going to be one of the best programs that we've ever had in this district. Ms. Mays, in regards to her enthusiasm, her innovative thinking, but in all honesty, when it's said and done, her strong organization skills, it was phenomenal. And to watch her in action and to just hear the radio, so-and-so's here, blah, 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 that's going to be in that group over there, you know, I mean, just, and the rotations, and it was clockwork, to the point where somebody would be like, they're ready to go to the next group, and she's like, no, they have 4 more minutes, not till 3:30, you know, and I was like, what? Like, you know, it's pretty phenomenal. And I would just like to just give recognition to our strong leadership assistants for the work that they're doing. With that said, I also want to just give a shout out to you, Dr. Moreno, and the district for the training that you're having them do. There's one thing where in the world of education where you're like, yeah, you have training. You're like, oh, okay, I got training. And you go because you have to go. But there's others where they're like, you have training and you walk out and you grow as a, you know, as a leader here in this district. And some of the things that I've heard positive things from have included the training that you did on budgeting, the training on the PBIS, and that was prevalent in a lot of classrooms I've gone through at school sites, the PBIS, it's awesome. So just want to give a shout out to you for having training that is intentional and meaningful and actually relevant to their new roles in this position and keeping this awesome program going. And that's all I just want to say. And thank you for this awesome presentation with all this data. This is really what I was looking for, and I appreciate this. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, what everybody said, I'll just follow along with that. Thank you for being here. Things are just going great. I had a blast at that assembly with my kids. They were just so cute and just did such a great job with it. Yeah, those are my kids. But I do have a couple of questions. Being a Girl Scout leader for many, many, many years back in the day, you know, I gotta kind of dive into that a little bit. So instead of asking you everything at once, we're gonna just kind of rapid fire, and you can tell me a little bit more about that. I'm wondering, okay, what schools is that at, or?
Actually, it's just starting. So
it's just starting?
Well, I shouldn't say it's just starting because it was existing. So right now, we onboarded students the first 3 weeks of August, and September we've rolled out all our enrichment. So the leadership assistance task, just like Anaheim Achieves, is like, let's get all our students here. Let's see how many students we have and what do we embed. So we just sent our promotional materials to start the Girl Scout Collaborative. And when we promote whole school. So our leadership assistants, I forgot one of the trainings is Parent Square. You know, so they've been using Parent Square to promote the information so that a parent gets it firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get it through Anaheim Succeeds or Anaheim Achieves. They get it as a student at a school, so that a parent is interested in enrolling in whatever it might be, then we ensure that they have access to the program. And so it might be a student has the option of attending 1 hour a week just for speech, or every day from 2 to 4:45 if they're in, and attend enrichment or speech or Girl Scouts or whatever it might be. What Girl Scouts will look like is typically it's an hour a week through the support of the Anaheim Achieves Collaborative. So they are the ones that are working towards finding the group leaders and making it happen, but all our students have access. So even though they're in Anaheim Succeeds, they can come over and join the Girl Scouts for that programming time, then go back to their group. And that's exactly what Anaheim Achieves does when we're running baile or chess or knitting or the chicken club or whatever extra AESD programming we might provide. So that is the reason why, if you need your steps, you just follow them around for a little bit, any time from 2 to 4:45, and they're moving kiddos around and ensuring our goal for a rotation is 20 to 25 minutes. So our late start schools have a good solid 3 rotations, but our early start schools, the 7:30, they have access to a little bit more rotations because of the time frame. Does that help?
Yeah, you answered a lot of my questions, but I'm kind of wondering, so there's not actually, there are or not some Girl Scout troops formed?
There is Girl Scout existing troops that were there 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
But now we're starting them right back up and ensuring that everybody gets recruited again.
Okay.
But certain sites already have that dynamic leader and troop implemented within their school site.
And that was going to be a question too, is are you bringing in actual leaders, traditional, Girl Scout leaders and parents or otherwise, that, and rather than leadership assistants or whatever, the actual troop leaders? Okay, and it's one time a week?
It's usually an hour a week,
an
or
hour a
actually
week?
it usually ends up being like an hour and 30 minutes per week that they meet typically. But again, it's up to the group leader on kind of what they decide, but it is during the structured and 2 to 6 programming.
Okay, but there are actually going to be groups that will also be involved through outside scouting, through the Girl Scout events, the Olympics, and we're going to be.
They take part in.
They're going to take part
the
in
Girl Scout events, but they meet, and it's usually a school site parent that supports alongside.
Thank you, and congratulations. You're doing just a great job and wonderful presentation, and thank you to all of you.
Thank you.
Sure. I just wanted to comment on how the numbers speak to the needs of our families, right? So it's growing because there's a need there, and we're addressing this need. And I think in some cases, our numbers are growing because not only are the parents seeing one of their needs can be met, but they're seeing an opportunity for their child to get enrichment. And that's what's fantastic about this, right? And we're playing on the strengths of our staffs, right? It's like strength-based, right? We're not telling them, hey, do this program because we want you to do this type of activity. No, it's like, what are you good at? What's something you love? What's your passion? And let's pass that on to the kids, right? And so that kind of sparks a lot of joy for me. So I'm really glad that we're able to do that and bring that to life. It's kind of like you talked about this being culturally responsive, but I think it's community responsive, right? We're doing what we can to program for our kids with what we have and our strengths. And so we thank you all for your participation and your leadership in making this work and expanding the programming, because it's wonderful work. And I'm just so proud of everything we're doing, and can't wait to see it explode as it moves forward, right? So we thank you so much for all your hard work and your energy. I know it's a lot of work and a lot of energy, so it's appreciated. And you have to hear that, right? Because you're doing good work in it, and we love you for that. Okay, so thank you so much. We appreciate your presentation, and thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. It's a huge puzzle, and bringing it and seeing it come to life, it just makes it all worth it, because again, it is community responsive, and the kids are happy. They do not want to leave our schools. That we knew even beforehand, but now we have a place for them that they can always be. So thank you.
One last question, Dr. Moreno. The Girl Scout troops, I'm back on the, once a Girl Scout, always a Girl Scout. That's the motto. You're always a Girl Scout. Are the troops at the levels, are you offering like the brownie?
They will be. We're just in the recruitment. So the flyer's going out this week, recruiting, but it will exactly.
You're going to form into the
or
levels.
Or could even have 2 if there's a brownie troop and then the Girl Scout.
Okay.
It will meet whatever the recruitment capacity is of the site.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 8, the consent calendar. Items listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and are acted on by the board in one motion. There is no discussion of these items unless a member of the board, staff, or public requests specific items to be discussed and or removed from the consent calendar. Are there any items that need to be pulled at this moment? All right, seeing that there are none, can I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
Motion
Second.
Ruelas, second Lopez. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving the consent calendar, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Let's move on to item 9, action calendar. Superintendent's Office. It's recommended the Board of Education receive for first reading revisions to the following board policies and administrative regulations.
So moved.
Motion Macalas,
Second.
second Ruelas. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Let's go to item 2. It's recommended the Board of Education adopt resolution number 2022-23/13 designating October 24th through October 28th, 2022 as Red Ribbon Week throughout the Anaheim Elementary District. Moved by
Second.
Philbeck, second Ruelas. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving, say aye.
I actually
Oh,
do have
okay.
a question
Sure.
about that. When it comes to the whole issue of Red Ribbon Week, et cetera, are we connected with, for example, like Pay? Is that like some of the funding?
Yes, it is.
And is that the manner in which it's allocated, is it by per school site or is it just a lump sum to district?
The district receives it and we can allocate it out to the schools.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Item 3, it's recommended the Board of Education adopt resolution number 2022-23/14 declaring October 25th, 2022 as Larry Eat Long Day throughout the Anaheim Elementary School District. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Dr. McAuliffe.
Second.
Second Ruelas. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just want to share, ever since I got on this board, I'm so proud that we have every year honored Larry Itliong. In the 1960s, Filipino Americans and Mexican Americans together fought for labor rights in Delano, California. And Larry Itliong, along with Dolores Huerta, along with Cesar Chavez, along many labor leaders fought and won, right, for farm worker rights. And I'm just proud that, throughout the month of October is actually Filipino American History Month. But I'm just proud that on that day, we can have a resolution that would not just honor Filipino Americans, but also teach them in our schools, right? I want to also utilize this time to honor Dawn Mabalon. She was a researcher as well who wrote a children's book on Larry Itliong. In fact, it's in all of our elementary schools. And so I just want to honor her work. She did unfortunately pass away a few years back in Hawaii. But I just also want to use that time to honor her. So I hope that our board could also continue to pass this resolution as well. Thank you so much.
Just proud to pass along the cultural relevancy and connections to our community. So yeah, super supportive. Thank you. Thank you for those words. Any other comments I'm seeing? Comments? No? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries 5-0. All right, item B, educational services. It's recommended the Board of Education adopt resolution number 202-23/15, designate the month of October 2022 as National Bullying Prevention Month throughout the Anaheim Elementary School District.
So moved.
Motion Morales,
Second.
second Lopez. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, abstentions? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Item C, SELPA, there are no items. D, human resources, there are none. E, administrative services. We have, it's recommended the Board of Education adopt resolution number 2022-23/16, acknowledging custodial staff for their hard work, dedication, and daily support for our students and declaring October 3rd, 2022 as Custodial Workers Appreciation Day throughout the Anaheim Elementary School District.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion, Bruelas, second from Philbeck. Any discussion?
A correction, please. That was Trustee Lopez.
Oh, sorry, Lopez. Motion by Lopez, second by Philbeck. My apologies. Any discussion? No? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion carries 5-0. Let's moving on to item 10, board discussion. Board member activities related to school business, starting with Trustee Lopez.
Thank you, Board President Alvarez. It was a busy week for me with my regular job duties. I don't have any board member activities to report this week. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Macalas.
Yeah, same. Sorry, it's been a really. Right now, it seems like it's the time, right? October's coming, midterms are coming. It's just. I'm sorry, I didn't get to visit any sites this last 2 weeks.
It's all good. Trustee Willis.
I too have been super busy, but I take my responsibilities very seriously, so I make time. I have a couple things that I would just like to report on, and one of which I will allow Trustee Lopez to jump on this bandwagon as well. It's not necessarily one of our official school sites per se, but it's something that we have oversight over, and I would like to just give a report that a couple weeks ago I had the privilege of attending a mayoral candidate forum hosted at Vibrant Minds Charter School. And next week, they're going to be having another candidates forum, but for the city council candidates in District 3. And it was a fascinating event, but the thing, you know, the candidates as a whole, whatever. I was most impressed truly with the students, and when they said it was going to be student run, they were serious about it. The students were taking the pictures, students were responsible for the videos, students were responsible for greeting, seating kids, or the people in attendance. It was really, really cool event, and I was very, very proud of these students for being involved in civic engagement and getting them introduced to the importance of knowing your candidates before you actually go and vote for them, okay? Then the other two things I would just like to report on briefly, I was fortunate in the sense that my meeting last week canceled, and so I had some extra time in the morning, so I swung by Jefferson to just go give Dr. Song a shout out. I haven't seen her in a while and just wanted to check out what's going on over there. Lots of exciting things. I have to tell you, I was super impressed. I got all excited about this and about the expanded learning opportunities programs that were right there, and just the various options and just how much information there's here. I would like to enroll my child in sessions, which ones, how many days a week, in the mornings, afternoons, how does your child get home? It's just so awesome, like in the sense of how they're basically really promoting this, and we're seeing this at our school sites, and that's important. Like, that's important that we're doing this promotion. With that said, I do want to say I have been going and visiting school sites in regards to this. One of the things that I just want to remind everybody that you can have some of the best things going on at your school site, etc. But if you walk into the front office and the front office doesn't treat you nicely, that's an issue. And I'm a board member. And as a result, that did happen. I was taken aback, and it made me realize that, yes, we need to still remind people about customer service. It's, you know, when it's said and done, I think that some of it stems from the idea, this concept of something new. And I think that the Extended Learning Opportunities Program is something new. So when I go and ask about that, and I have the front office being like, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, that's an issue for me, you know? And then I ask, well, I want to talk to the representative. That's the leadership assistant. Oh, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You know, we are investing a lot of money in this, and I expect, you know, it to show when we're basically going through and visiting these schools. It's great stuff. But really, with one or two incidences like that, I mean, it means nothing. When it's said and done. But with that said, I would also like to give a shout out, and I spoke a lot about it earlier when they presented on the Extended Learning Opportunities Program. Just the wide array of talent and the wide array of opportunities that are there, that are leadership assistants now, and our teachers that are participating, our instructional assistants that are there. I saw a lot of this whole thing, and it goes back to that whole cliche again. Of it takes a village to raise a child. And that's what's neat about this whole program. Everybody is running with things that they're passionate about, that they love, that they capitalize on, that they have firsthand knowledge that they can share with students about. And they're all working together to do that. And of course, the inclusivity of it all. But I just really, really hope that as we continue and the months progress, that we have everyone speaking the same language. Like, I mean, I don't even know, like, should I call it Anaheim Succeeds, or do I call it Extended Learning Opportunities? You know, like, what is the exact lingo we should be talking about? And I just want to make sure we're all speaking on the same verbiage, so that no kind of misunderstandings happen again in the future. And with that, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ellis. Clerk Phillip.
Okay, I had some fun things that I did these past few weeks. I started out with a parent GRIP program meeting at Price. There were a lot of parents that attended. The library was full. And the information was basically on raising kids successfully through community partnerships, creating strong foundations, and protecting your kids online from cyberbullying, phone safety, and social networking. It was really interesting, and I was glad to see that a lot of parents had questions, and that was good, so the discussion was lively. At Westmont, I attended a coffee with Principal Victoria and Vice Principal Stewart, and Barbara Tosa, along with the others, gave a great interactive session to all of us that were there on counting collections and the young children's mathematical thinking. And there was lots of examples of cognitively guided instruction, including games, handouts, and I love it when there's games and handouts because I have, you know, my grandchildren at home, and I always take those, and they're just so fun and so instructional. And also there was a lot of information on conferences, the pledge, and emergent and bilingual programs. So it was really a fun, full meeting, and congratulations to them. You already saw that I attended the Universal Soul Assembly. That was that Segerstrom picture that you saw with my kids. And they were fantastic. This is, board members, this is the Expanded Learning Opportunities Program, as Eudora said. So she does 6 of these a year, and where both student groups are present, the ELOP students and the Anaheim Achieves. And we approved this contract, and I'm so glad that we did, because it was fantastic. These kids got up there, and there was a tremendous program of hip-hop, Afrobeat, ballet, dance mixes, and I loved it when the one girl threw down a board and started tap dancing. It was amazing, and you know me, I love the tap dancing. So there was, you could hear a pin drop. Not only did it have the kids' attention, you could tell they were just really, really enjoying it, and there was an interactive part where they got to go on stage. So it was tremendous positive messaging throughout, great dance interpretation. That's how I would describe it. And it was just a fantastic assembly. And, okay, so last Friday, I attended there were 2 days of professional development for our music teachers that were held at Marshall, I believe, and all 25 of our music teachers participated. The professional development was provided by the people we love so much, Save the Music, our fantastic and generous community music partners. So presenters were the teachers from El Sistema, I want to get this right, Santa Cruz. And the first session was, this sounds weird, but Orff, like for Carl Orff, which was a composer. And it was body percussion and hand games with the rhythm sticks, you know, doing the tapping and passing them. The Orff approach, it's a developmental approach used in music education, and it combines music, movement, drama, and speech into lessons, utilizing 4 stages to organize the process of teaching music: imitation, exploration, improvisation, and composition. And I mention this because, you know, it was fantastic. You think that we're just teaching kids how to bang on a drum or play an instrument. There's a lot more that goes into this, these classes, and what these kids are learning through this, and like I said, you know, improvisation and composition. It's just great. So the next session was best practices and strategies for implementing or using the Orff instruments in the classroom, which was really interesting. One of the teachers gave just a great presentation. Later in the day, the teachers participated in folk dancing, including, and here's Dr. Magalis, I was so excited to tell you this, traditional Philippine folk dance. And I wanted to know if you've ever heard of the tininkling dance. Do you know what that is? You could do it. Well, then there we go. And that's the dance with the bamboo poles that originated during the 1500s, right? So you know you do the bamboo poles and stuffing. And what was, again, the instruction that goes with this, what that is it imitates the movement of the tinkling birds. You knew that, right? As they walk between the grass stems, run over tree branches, or dodge bamboo traps. And the dancers imitate the tinkling birds' legendary grace and speed by skillfully maneuvering between the large bamboo poles. So, here we have music integrating history, culture, just all kinds of wonderful things from simply learning a simple dance. So I was really impressed, and thank you again, Save the Music, for sponsoring that. I did have an Orange County School Board Association meeting, which generally that involves a lot of legislation. Our joint dinner meeting, if anybody gets to go is next week, guys, and Evolving with Gratitude, and the keynote speaker is Lainey Rowell. And I'm honored to have been reelected to the board representative for the elementary district representative. And last, PTA meeting, not least, but the last thing was just a few days ago, the PTA meeting. And as usual, it was full, it was fun. We have a lot of great people that are just really busy, and everybody needs to know too, the PTA is kind of like, they're small businesses. It's not just a meeting and they plan some fun things. There is paperwork, there are taxes, there are budgets, there is a lot that goes on that has to be run through these organizations, and thank you to those people that are keeping track of all that and, taking care of that for us. And with that, thank you for listening.
Thank you, Board Clerk Philbeck. And those are just the things you see at the PTA meeting. You don't know what happens behind the scenes. Well, yeah. You do, but anyway. So 2 things I want to report on. First thing I want to report on is I went to my son's parent-teacher conference on the 21st with Miss Maestra Torres. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I know that the conferences affect all of our families, right? So, and in a good way, right? So what I came to realize during the conference with my child and my wife and the teacher was a realization of how much my child, who's in 2nd grade, is a lot like me when I was in 2nd grade. Right? Believe it or not, I was really hard to handle and manage at home when I was a child, believe it or not. And I had kind of like I kind of knew it all kind of attitude, right? So it's very similar to my son Reese, right? So we're very much alike. But the thing I want to point out is that I realized in that session how much support this child is getting from the schools and from our programming and the teacher and the strategies our teachers know and the supports that we have with our behavioral supports and our counseling, how much he's going to thrive further than I would have ever imagined, right? Because he's able to use strategies to calm himself down. He uses them at home, right? And so he's teaching us as parents how to help him cope with different things, right? And these are all skills that we're teaching our kids through the schools. And so if this is happening in my family dynamic, it's definitely happening in other family dynamics. And the amount of impact that we're having on our families is just exponential, and you can't even imagine how impactful this is for our kids in their future, right? If I was that kind of child with no supports and my parents not understanding anything about schools and the system, and I ended up having the career I have, I can only imagine what our kids can become, right? So I just wanted to share that because this is something I was realizing while I was in the conference, and I'm just so thankful that my kids get to be part of this district and get taught by our teachers, phenomenal people, right? We have awesome work happening here in our district, so just kind of a story there. And then on the 23rd, I was able to go to the Anaheim Collaborative parent event that was hosted at the Fullerton College, and I just want to commend our team and Dr. Grace for being part of the Anaheim Collaborative and representing Anaheim Elementary well, and for our team to facilitate getting some of our parents over there, right? Providing bus and transportation and getting our parents exposed to different opportunities in the realm of learning about college for their kids. So just thankful for us to connect in that way with our families. And that concludes my report. All right, so let's move on to future agenda items. Are there any agenda items you would like to add, board members? All right, seeing none, we're going to go ahead and adjourn our meeting. Our next regular board meeting is Wednesday, October 12th, and I adjourn this meeting at 7:55 p.m. Have a good night, everybody.